Nearly 5 million Ukrainians have fled the country since the war began, seeking refuge in neighboring countries. Let's bring in Lauren Leader. She is co-founder and CEO of the group All In Together, and she is in Warsaw, near the Ukraine border, meeting with aid groups and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Lauren, what are you seeing and hearing from aid workers there?
Yeah, so I'm in the Warsaw East Refugee Settlement Center. Every day there are still dozens of trains that are arriving from Przemyśl and Bren, and which is on the border where people are crossing. And this is at a point where already authorities in Warsaw have said that they are really at capacity. They're encouraging refugees to move on to other cities, to go to other places in the country because they can't cope. There are about 2.7 million people, as you said, that have come into Poland, the vast majority of those in big cities like Warsaw, and they're really at capacity. Aid groups are working very hard to try to settle people, but as I've been speaking with refugees, mostly moms of young children, they've been telling me how difficult it is. If they had savings at all before they came, they've mostly run through them. It's very difficult to access the cash assistance, which is there and hopefully will start to ramp up and give more people support. But the one thing they all say is they're just blown away, Mika, by the hospitality of the Polish people, by how loving and welcoming they've been, and just this sort of endless support that they're getting, not just here in these, humanitarian organization-run places, but also just by average Poles who are stepping up to support people.
The sheer numbers are, really historic to have that many people coming in a matter of 2 months to a country. And you say some of them are being, they're trying to inspire them to move on to other areas. But do they have money? Do they know where they're going? What are the situations that you're hearing about?
Every person that I spoke to made the decision to leave places like Kharkiv and Kyiv and Bucha and all of these sort of places in a matter of minutes. They grabbed what they could, threw it in a backpack, and went for a train or a bus that somebody told them was available to them. Very few people come here with plans. If they're lucky, they may know somebody, but for the most part, they don't. Apparently, there's a whole proliferation of Facebook groups as well, folks that are trying to help and connect people to housing, but it's pretty desperate. And actually, I heard today about a family that's, believe it or not, that is going back, is turning around and going back to Ukraine because they can't make ends meet here. And at least in their home, they had left some food behind, and they have a garden, and they feel that they can fend for themselves. So, it's a massive scale of the problem. And the other thing that we're seeing is that now we're entering a sort of like second wave, that there were millions of people that came in those first few weeks. Many of them had the means to get out quickly. Now we're seeing more elderly, more disabled folks, more children with disabilities. So it's not just that the numbers have grown, the complexity of what their needs are when they get here or when they get wherever they're going has ramped up very significantly. The local aid groups and the international ones, they're all working overtime, struggling to keep up.
Lauren Leader, thank you so much. I know that you've also been speaking with teachers there, and we look forward to hearing that part of the story from you when you return. Thank you, Lauren. And still ahead.